So I apologize for chewing gum in this video. It just helps me with my nicotine addiction. And hopefully I can finish this before my phone dies. But I just want to thank you guys for watching Dancing Man, the short film that I did on the iPhone 14. We filmed it in 5 hours. It was something very quick, something that we just wanted to do just to have fun with. And I really do appreciate all the kind words. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. You can also log it on Letterboxd. So yeah, I really appreciate that. Almost 200 people so far. And I also have another short coming out called The Interview, where Percival and Lewis talk about employment. That one's actually a big one I'm going to hit festivals with. We rehearsed for like almost 2 months. The two actors that I worked with, they memorized 13 pages of dialogue, which is insane. So I'm very excited for you guys to watch that. That one is going to be, that one is not shot on the iPhone. But today I'm going to talk about my top 4 favorite films of 2023. And this is something that I don't usually do. I think the last time I did a favorite film, I think I did a favorite film for last year, I think. Usually I do these closer to Oscar season, but for this year, since I was on top of basically every film that came out this year, and I got to see a few early, I'm just going to go ahead and do the video. I don't foresee my ranking changing. I still need to watch The Taste of Things and Promised Land with Mads Mikkelsen, but I just don't know if my list will change. I don't think my number 1 will change, but for right now, we're just going to go with it. So these are the top 4 films that I've seen in 2023, and 2023 has been a fantastic year for films. Let me tell you, it has been a fantastic year. But let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and go with number 4. Number 4, I have the new Yorgos Lanthimos film, Poor Things. Now, this film, I knew it was going to be extraordinary whenever I watched it, especially with Emma Roberts, Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe, Margaret Qualley, Rami Youssef. I mean, it had an all-star cast already, but just this film met my expectations and went even further than that, and I can appreciate that just from an audience standpoint. I was just in awe watching the film in theaters, and it was funny, it was charming, very vulgar. There's a lot of certain themes in the film. It's not something that unless your family is very open-minded, it's not something that I would take my family to go see. Well, probably would, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And I don't know if it's my favorite Yorgos Lanthimos film. I don't think it's better than Killing of a Sacred Deer, and I'm still trying to figure out if I like it better than The Favorite or not. But I think it sits at a solid 2 for his filmography, or maybe a top 3. And I already love Yorgos Lanthimos to begin with, and I feel like this film has sort of solidified him as a top 10 director for me. But if you guys have not seen Poor Things, it was so refreshing to see a film that took itself serious with its underlying themes, but at the same time, it presented them in a way where it was very harsh and it was very silly and it was very lighthearted. And Emma Stone, she gives a phenomenal performance of somebody who's just liberated in life, and somebody that's just trying to figure life out as she goes, making mistakes along the way, but basically owning up to the person that they are. It's a very inspiring role that Emma Stone just completely nailed. Coming out at number 3, and I did a video for this, and I think I pissed off a few people making the video, but if I did, get over it, G. This film is Zone of Interest. I had a chance to see this film early at the Chicago International Film Festival, and this was my most anticipated film of the year. I love Jonathan Glazer. And Zone of Interest is interesting because it's probably the most different film that I've seen the whole entire year, but it has Sandra Hüller, Christian Friedel, who I had a chance to meet at the Chicago International Film Festival. And it gives you a look at the Holocaust in a very distant, very cold, but very captivating way. And it has a very interesting juxtaposition between good and evil, something that a lot of films try to touch on, but they don't necessarily execute it like this. Now, I will say, for your average viewer, this might be a film that's hard to get into. It might be a hard film to sort of view if you're just a casual moviegoer. But I feel like this is probably one of the most important films to come out in recent years, and basically just having the Nazi family living outside of Auschwitz and not seeing what goes on in Auschwitz, but hearing what's going on. Jonathan Glazer said it best. He's basically presenting two movies to you, one that you can see and one that you can hear. And it made for one of the most interesting theater experiences that I had all year. And it's getting a wider release next week, and I cannot wait because I've been wanting to watch this film again. And the cinematography is just extraordinary. Very cold and muted colors, very fly on the wall feel. But I couldn't imagine this film doing it any other way. Coming in at number 2, now this was actually a huge surprise for me. I did not expect to enjoy this film as much as I did. And I watched it twice. I watched it one day, and then the next day I watched it again with my wife because I enjoyed it that much. And I have seen so many mixed reactions for this film, and I find it very funny because and the film I'm talking about is Leave the World Behind from Sam Ismail. It's got Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke. I need to quit talking so fast. Mahershala Ali, Kevin Bacon. And it is a very conspiracy-heavy film. I've had friends message me that's not into cinema as much as I am, just sort of talk about the film and what they took from it. And I've seen people really hate this film, and I've seen people praise it, and I've seen mixed reviews. The cool thing about Leave the World Behind is it's either started one of the more interesting conversations in film in recent memory, and nothing's going to happen, but it was so intelligent and so well executed that it got people talking, or what actually happened in the film is going to happen in real life, and then people are going to look back on this film and be like, wow, they tried to tell them. And that's what I found so captivating about it, because yeah, you can sit down and you can watch a film, and then you can watch a film again and say, hey, I didn't notice these things about said film, but watching it on a repeated viewing and seeing these things, I noticed things that I didn't notice before. And it's easy to say that, but there were some things with this film that I noticed the second time watching it, and it was so satisfying. So satisfying. This film completely took me off guard. I was going to make a video about it just by itself. Didn't get a chance to, just like Poor Things. But just, if you have not seen this film, it's on Netflix. I absolutely loved it. And if you didn't like it, that's completely fine, because it seems like a lot of people that just does not like this film, they have good reasons on why they don't like it. And yeah, I just think that's it's very telling in itself. I think that's a very, very telling thing in itself. And fun fact, that was actually my favorite film of the year, but then I started thinking more about it, and I have not rewatched this film since I've seen it, and I'm actually scared to. And that film is The Holdovers. Holdovers is my favorite film this year. Paul Giamatti, Dominic Sessa, Divine Joy Randolph. I think she's going to win for Best Supporting Actress. Her performance was just so heartbreaking, but so just real and extraordinary. But this is a film from Alexander Payne, and it's basically Paul Giamatti's playing this very mean, very strict teacher, and these kids, they're held over for winter break. Some of them leave, one of them stays, and you get to see this relationship with these three central characters, and it is just so heartwarming, so beautiful, to the point to where I am very scared to watch this film again, because excuse me, I don't know if it's going to hold up again as much as it did the first time. And that really does sort of terrify me, because I love this film so much, and the last thing I want to do is sit down, watch it again, and just be like, wow, that didn't hit me as much as it did the first time. But it's the one film this year that I just have not been able to stop thinking about. I mean, of course, I've been thinking of Leave the World Behind and Zone of Interest and Poor Things, but The Holdovers, I just have this itch that I want to watch it again. And I know it might be a little bit unfair putting it at number 1, but at the moment it is my favorite film, and I hope it stays that way. And maybe I'll keep you guys up to date, or maybe if I watch it again and something else takes my number 1 spot, I won't tell you, and I'll just be that type of person. But if you guys have not seen The Holdovers, it is the most beautiful film this year. I loved it. But anyway, that is my 4 favorite films of 2023. There were so many good films that came out this year that I could have talked about. I mean, there's May, December, The Iron Claw, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Maestro. So many terrific films that came out this year that I could have talked about, but I narrowed it down to 4, kind of like on Letterboxd, narrow it down to 4. Also, if you guys want to follow me on Letterboxd, definitely do down in the description below. Also, if you guys want to check out my teaser for my feature film, Quesadilla, check it out. It's in the description as well. Still working on it. I have some exciting projects coming up. Also, I'm always looking to collaborate, so if you guys want to collaborate, definitely hit me up. But anyway, guys, take it easy. See you next time.